Are you looking to improve your bench press really quickly or trying to iron out some technique issues? Well, here today, I want to talk about 3 easy tips that are immediately going to help your bench press, help you hit new PRs, and hopefully succeed on the platform if you're a competitive powerlifter. Let's get to it. Hey there, Brandon Smiley here from Thirst Gym, and I'm going to help you improve your bench press with these 3 tips. Now, the thing about the bench press is it's incredibly technical, and it very commonly gets overlooked of the technicality of how to bench press. Many people just think you just lay down on the bench press, push the bar away from you, and you're going to get stronger. And as a novice trainee, that may work for some time, but the technical things that you're going to do to immediately improve your bench press, help you hit PRs, and see that on the platform if you so desire, are going to be these 3 things I'm going to talk to you about today. The technicality of bench pressing starts from the leg drives and the hips, works it up into the upper body of setting the shoulders, being in a strong position, and then depending on how you have the bar grasped, how it's in your hands, and how you approach that barbell to your chest and then pressing it off your back, what you should be thinking about, and the technical things that are happening there during the pressing. So today with these 3 tips, I should be able to help you clean up your entire bench press with just these 3 things. And if you really focus on these when you're training technically, especially with your lighter weights, finding weights that you can do these consistently well before you start to go too heavy too fast, you're not only gonna clean up your technique, but I bet you in anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks, you're gonna hit a bench press PR. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about here to help you improve your bench press is your setup. Now, the foundation of how you set your bench press up is going to lay out the possibility and the potential of what you can actually do bench press wise. If you have a shitty setup, you're going to have a shitty bench press. That's just all there is to it. Now, we're going to start from the floor and work our way up into the bar and kind of talk about how you can set up to maximize things and with some different feet position, whether you tuck or flat, but the upper body parts are pretty much going to stay the same. So from the position here where we got the bar, just to make sure you understand here, the bar needs to be in a place where when you unrack it, it's not 20 miles over the bench, but you're also not way down here by your face and you have to press it to get it out. So just make sure you're in a normal position that when you go to lift that bar out, it's gonna come out an inch or 2 from the rack. That's what's gonna be the most ideal. Then what you wanna do from your feet. So I am a flat-footed bencher, so I take my feet, make sure they're flat, I then get my chest popped up, shoulders are pulled back and down, and then with my feet they go out as wide as I can and then far out in front of me as I can. From a flat foot benching perspective, this is the most optimal position you can be. The thing you don't want to do is have your feet close to you and flat, because what happens when you go to apply leg drive and push, your butt can leave the bench press here. I'm not very flexible, but even me, I'm having my butt leave the bench press. But if my feet are flat and out in front in a strong position here, as I go to press, I can't get my butt off the mat. I don't have the leverage to do so, and then being wide keeps me nice and stable. Okay, if you're going with a tucked foot position, then when your feet are down by the bench, what you want to have happen is that you've got your toes, your heels are actually elevated, and then you want to make sure that your heels, as you're getting set up, you're going to take your adductors, you're going to squeeze the bench press, feet are going to get turned out as you go to apply your leg drive. And so by having your adductors squeezed, your feet pushed out this way, that's also going to prevent your butt from coming here. What happens when people tuck their feet too much and their heels are in, that allow your adductors are activated, and now we can get hip extension here like this, and then your butt's gonna leave the bench if you go to actually not push through your heels and squeeze the bench. So by turning out, creating internal rotation at our femur, that keeps us squeezed on the bench press. That's where our feet need to be. Then from our back, we're gonna make sure our shoulders are pulled back and down. As I go to grab the barbell here, I'm in a set position, eyes are right underneath the barbell, or maybe even right around my eyebrows, especially if you have somebody lifting off to you. But I've got my shoulders packed together and down. Notice I'm not shrugged up here to get the weight out. I've actually got them pulled down so that my sternum can be tall. My feet are now in a strong position. Now I'm able to unrack the barbell. So that strong foundation from a flat foot or tucks doesn't really matter. You want to kind of squeeze things together, create as much pressure as you can so that your chest is leaning tall and you're in a strong, stable foundation. When you unrack the barbell, you're there and ready to press. All right, the second thing we're going to talk about here today is going to be your lat tightness and how you use your lats to sit the barbell into them as you're loading them for your unrack. So you've got the setup down. Now let's get the barbell in the lats to further that setup when the barbell comes out so they can maximize our pressing strength. So I'm gonna get back into my position here, my normal setup, and get my feet are flat. I'm tucked, I got shoulder blades pulled back together down. I'm gonna put my hands in my normal competition bench press position, which is right around the power ring, so the pinky for me, but you should know what that is for you. And then once I go to unrack the barbell here, as I go to pull it out and I push up, it's barely gonna clear the rack. So we kind of talked about that earlier. We wanna make sure I'm not leaving too much range of motion for adjustment here. So get that rack set exactly where you need to. Unrack the barbell. As the barbell comes out, I've still got my shoulder blades pulled back and down, but now I'm squeezing my ring and pinky finger. I'm trying to meet the bar. I'm letting it sit in my lats. The biggest issue here with most lifters is when they go to unrack it, they keep it like this. So hopefully you see how my elbows are turned out, my shoulders aren't really, they're kind of packed together, but they're not packed down, and my lats aren't doing anything, so my first motion starts to go like this. So hopefully you can see that big J curve that I'm starting to make, or if I actually get set where I'm supposed to, have that in my lats, now when I come down, the barbell's in a perfect position. I can feel my lats helping stop the barbell, so now when it actually comes time to go press, I'm in a position to press a strong position. Again, if I'm here like this and they're not packed together the way they're supposed to be, you can see how much of a bigger range of motion that is, and I don't even feel tight here anymore. But if I've got my shoulders pulled back and down, I'm squeezing the bar, I've got my lats packed and trying to meet the barbell here, back up. Notice I'm in a much better position as I go to press, and then I can rack. So I'm using my lats to not only pull the barbell out, but I wanna make sure that they stay in my lats and not too elevated and shrugged up, because then they're no longer in my lats to own that position on the eccentric. So that can be something that takes a little bit of time to get used to. And if you've got a training partner, when I've worked with people, I can sometimes feel them resisting me pushing them out. And I try to help teach athletes this way when I lift off to them, is I'm trying to nudge you out. You don't have the barbell in your lats near as much as you should. So you wanna make sure that barbell stays nice and loaded in the lats right over your nipple line, so as soon as you come down, you're in that strong, powerful position. All right, so the last part we're gonna talk about here is gonna be the grip, or how you're holding the barbell. Now, I'm gonna have my hands relatively close to what they normally would when I bench press, but I don't want you to be able to see what my hands are doing. So when I got the barbell squeezed and I'm ready to unrack the barbell, I want to ensure that my pinky and my ring finger are actually doing primarily the majority of the work of the squeezing. I'm trying to create some rotations. Hopefully you can see how my arm is externally rotating as I go to do that. And what that's going to do now, I'm going to be able to actually load my lats as I'm going to lower the barbell towards my chest. Then as I go to press, I actually want to focus more of my tension on my hand in my middle and my pointer finger, or even in this area between my thumb, between my pointer finger and my thumb, as I go to actually push. And what that's gonna do, that's gonna give me more internal rotation here at the shoulder, and that lets me create more force as I go to actually push the barbell away from me. Again, I'm not gonna try to tell you to focus on twisting your arm, so to speak, but if you're feeling pressures as you're pushing or going down, you wanna feel the elbow pinkies as you're coming down, or the bar's coming down to you, and as you go to press, you actually want to push this way. Again, arms are still here, but you want to actually push through the middle part of your hands. The barbell is then also still going to be sitting in the meaty, fatty part of your hands. You want to make sure your knuckles are towards the ceiling. It's not back here. Once you've got all those pressure points figured out, elbow, pinky, push, middle finger, pointer finger, and even some of your meaty part of your thumb, that's going to give you the hand pressure that you need to optimize what your arms should actually be doing. It's also going to prevent you from coming out like this and pressing out like this. You're going to be in a strong, powerful position with each and every single press that you take in your bench press. All right, now that we've talked about those coaching cues, I'm going to show you a couple drills that are going to help you here. So the first one is going to be a band pull apart in your bench press position. So just take a small band. I like the micro mini bands because it doesn't take a whole lot. But essentially you're going to get in your bench press position, and then you're going to take your hands pronated in the position that you want to be in. You can even put them around where your hands would be bench press wise. Create some tension here. So by creating that tension, you're also going to feel that you're pulling the bar apart, or you're in a strong position that's going to force you to squeeze your shoulder blades, and you want to make sure they're pulled down so that barbell is right in your bar path. Now from this position, you're just going to take the band, you're going to pull it apart, meet the band, and come back down. So you're always going to keep your shoulder blades tight, but now we're actually just gonna perform band pull aparts in this position to reinforce that position. You're gonna feel your rhomboids and all the musculature around your scaps, your traps, even some of your lats, really get a pump from here, and that's really gonna help train them specifically towards your bench press. So you're not only gonna get the feedback, but you're gonna get the strength in the positions where you want them. You can even do these for about 5-10 second holds for a couple reps to really reinforce that position. And then when you go to bench press, you wanna be able to try to mimic and find that position that you just created with the band. All right, taking that same band that you had for your pull apart, now we're gonna do an isometric pullover, or if you happen to have a training partner, you can take the band and actually put it on the barbell and unrack the barbell and focus on leaving in that position, and then you can feel what it's like to have your lats engaged to hold that position. But I don't have a training partner here today with me to show you that, so I'm gonna show you how to do it by yourself in case if you happen to be training by yourself. I think it actually is probably more practical. So you're gonna take the band here, you're just gonna put it around the barbell, as such, just right around in the middle position. And then from here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna get in your bench press position. You're gonna have to scoot back just a little bit towards the end of the bench, which is totally normal. And then you're gonna take the band here with the 2 loops that you have and get set in your bench press position. Now you're gonna take the band, you're gonna create some tension, keep your hands in your bench press position here, pull over, and now you can feel your lats in that position. So this is the position that you want to be able to feel. Not only am I keeping my shoulder blades pulled back and down, but now I'm in a position here that I'm having to use my lats to hold that position, and that's where we want the bar to be. And then you could even, try some presses here. It doesn't feel too great, if I'm being honest with you. It's not something I prefer, but if you're like, I want to feel my lats as I'm going to actually pull my hands down and push up, you're gonna feel kind of like a row-based pattern. But the reason I like this is because you're able to create that tension, not only in my scaps and my rhomboids, and I can feel that squeeze together, but now I can integrate my lats into that position. And then now when I go get underneath the bar, I can actually know, oh, that's what that feels like. So I'm being able to get that RNT, or reactive neuromuscular technique, from that position of where my lats were. So give those 2 band drills a try, either like a warm up or every time before you go to bench press, or even on off days, or just go to the gym next time you're there and just try and see the feedback that you get. And this should immediately help cue and improve your upper body positioning and setup for your bench press. All right, that's gonna wrap up today's video on the 3 tips I've got to help you with your bench press. But before we go, I wanna let you know that if you're taking these technical things and implementing them and your bench press actually feels weaker initially, I get it, it's totally normal. Chances are you've not done or taken the proper steps to develop your upper back strength, your lat strength, or your tricep strength. And so if you can start to implement and train those particular muscles to help your bench press, this technical transition will be much smoother and easier for you to make. Now, if this video happened to help you, do me a favor, smash the like button, leave a comment, let me know below how it happened to help you from a technical perspective. And if you happen to know somebody that's struggling with their bench press technically, share this video with them and I'd really appreciate it. Again, I appreciate you checking in for today's video, and I'll see you at the next video. Have a good one.